What up, my freaks? Ruinous Insight here with part 2 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Kairos Fateweaver Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we had a decently strong start with the wiping out of the vampire counts in the Road to Damnation, followed by the destruction of the Kislevites that occupy the Cliffs of Death, and then culminating in the move northward to attack Tamurkhan's main army, his original stack, and destroying both Tamurkhan and his critical units. Though interestingly enough, I see that Barbro's Dowie Breaker here has a unit of Chosen, and I don't understand how he got that. Chosen are a tier 4, right? So does the Nurgle tree evolution for the mechanic that they have with those things, do they get the ability to build Chosen by turn 20? That's pretty interesting if they do. Good for them. It's probably too late for that because Tamurkhan's lost his main stack, but we'll see. Anyway, other than that, we got ourselves 2 vassals, one in the form of the Withered Eye Greenskins and one in the form of the Tokmar's Norskins. I'm hoping that they'll both come in handy with regards to building some stuff. I definitely want a couple of Norskin-themed armies, so we definitely need at least one Norskin ally, but hopefully multiple. As, well, we got a theme going here, and we can build Norskin units. Besides, Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch are very, very nice, and we can use them to great effect if we manage to get them in numbers. Anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this turn, I, in fact, should have ended the turn between the episodes because there is nothing to do this turn. I guess we could level up a little bit. Kairos, you have a point, and you do not have anything that we can get your Gaze of Fate, yes. Alrighty. In case you want to slow somebody down, or in case you want to duel them because your stats are a little bit on the weaker side. As for the Iridescent Horrors, we have to make the choice between the Locus of Transmog, which allows you to summon blue horrors, which is fantastic on its own, the Locus of Conjuration, which will allow us to massively increase power recharge and Winds of Magic power reserve, and then lastly the Locus of Change, which gives range to the army, but Kairos' army is probably not going to be super ranged heavy. And then a buff to range units. We should get like 4 of these guys in a ranged army. That'll be nice. So it'll be between Locus of Conjuration and Locus of Transmog for Kairos. Actually, an interesting choice. The barrier replenishment rate, I assume, a delay rather, will stack with Kairos' own. He's got a minus 20%, and he can bump that up further with the Iridescent Horrors, kind of lean into what he has going already. But in the late game especially, the ability to summon the unit of blue horrors isn't going to be particularly useful in Kairos' army, whereas the Winds of Magic recharge probably will, and the same with the additional stuff that we get here, so we shall see. Also, somebody pointed out in the comments last episode that you gotta click on the little spot between the different levels of the Winds of Magic to see what it actually does here, and we have barrier replenishment delay rate plus 20%, campaign movement range, and Demon's Reforge chance plus 5 at max level, which is nice. Anyway, I think we'll leave the choice of loci for later. For now, let's pick a tech and let's move on. As for the tech we pick, we are, I think, going to start moving back through the Way of Time, get that control, get that Storm of Fire. Unless there's something really critical that we want out of this. We do want the barrier replenishment spam, but we can hold off on it for now. It's not super critical. Spell intensity is great. Oh, right, the targeting range. Yeah, but for 400 of the Grimoires, I think we can hold off on it for now, though this is probably the one that we want to get really, really early, because it's a big buff to Kairos in pretty much every caster. Anyway, for now, we wanted to upgrade Dogonyar Forest. You can go to Infernal Citadel now. 1 turn, nice. And I guess we can build these up in 1 turn as well. They won't be making as much anything because the Winds of Magic here are kind of meh, but, well, what can you do? I was hoping to take more from here and put them down here, but that's alright. We'll take it out of Tamurkhan's territory once we take it all.
The weavings of fate beckon us all.
Alright, Tzeentch and Nurgle are rivals after all. Unholy Manifestation. Spread enough Tzeentch corruption to unlock an Unholy Manifestation. Will do. Looks like Barbro's Dowie Breaker will back off, probably far enough away that we can't teleport on top of him. But the only location we can reach is Altar of Madness, otherwise I would have gone for Hate March first. The annoying aspect of this is if he goes this way, we'll have to somehow deal with him. Wait. Kairos, can you use regular ambush stance? You can, eh? Huh, okay, wait, there is an option. If we take the Altar of Madness using one of the other lords and then put Kairos into ambush, we might still be able to get this guy, and just by using one of these guys as bait. So, let's try that. You can move into the Altar of Madness. Wait, you actually can't reach it. Oh, don't tell me neither of you can reach it. Ah, you can. Good job, Farmort. Let's move you in. I like so. And, oh, can we risk auto-resolving it when these guys are down to 18 troops? I don't know, but we probably should, because this is also a waste of time. I'm gonna regret this eventually, but now is not that day. You can move in here as well. Alright, like so, and then we will auto-resolve it. Alright, let's see what this does. Oh, let's also give the War Banner to... Oh, wait, what? Oh, the War Banner... Okay, it's not on Kairos, it's on this guy. Alright, fine, fair enough. I'll resolve this, and 168 units lost. But not the Blue Horrors, interestingly enough. I guess it mostly hurt the Marauders, and by the looks of it, the Furies, and it also killed 6 of the Shrieking Rays. That's actually not good. But what can you do? Alright, another arcane item, because every item we find is of the arcane variety. Farmort, you can hold on to that. Hello! We did get a Scepter of Entropy, though. That's very nice. Melee attack, melee defense, weapon strength plus 10%. Solid arcane item. We are going to keep the Forbidden Rod on Kairos, but this is a great one that we'll probably put on maybe another one of the Lords of Change or something like that. Frankly, for now, the Sorcerer Lords are probably okay to hold it. I love it. And, oh, a Brass Cleaver as well. Not bad. That is a very solid item to put on the Cultists, because they're going to be holding on to the, missile resistance. Yeah, let's get you some missile resistance. They are going to be... Yeah, let's also get you Trickster Shard. What was I saying? They are going to be on the War Shrines. They're providing support anyway, so they may as well be doing that. I don't know whether they'll be needed in that form in Kairos' stack, depending on what we do with his army eventually, but we'll see. Also, we need to get these guys to level 5 and 10 as fast as possible. Really gotta max out that replenished troops. But for now, we're okay. Alright, Kairos, you ambush. Let's see if we can't make that work. Ben Meyer, what did you get again? Fixated. Ward save 10%. Alright, fair enough. Oh, where are you going? Oh, he's gonna start raiding our territory, isn't he? It's gonna be annoying because it's a -10 regardless. Oh well, what can you do? Let's upgrade the Infernal Citadel here. At least he probably can't take any of these territories. I hope. Yeah. And we only have enough money to upgrade another one of these, so I guess we'll upgrade another one of these. Infernal Citadel here, I guess, to upgrade the Cultist Enclave, though 2,000 gold. That's pretty darn steep. But we can actually still build the Warp Plinth there. Oh, there's also stuff that needs to be built here, but we don't have the cash for, so... Well, that's what I get for getting the Shrieking Skyrays and the Golden Griffin of Theurgy, so what can you do? End turn. Hey, and it did work out. Pyrrhic victories still. I guess the game is certainly valuing those chosen and whatnot highly, but yeah. Man, they're just spamming Chaos Warriors and stuff rather than Marauders. We haven't even tucked to Chaos Warriors yet. Still, first battle should be fun, especially considering how damaged we are, but I'm sure Kairos should be able to deal with this no problem. Go.
Warriors of Tzeentch, destroy these weaklings and deliver them to their fate.
Alrighty, traveling through the sort of Nurglite forest is pretty nice, but we gotta enjoy it while we can in the Nurglite maps in general, because Tamurkhan will be gone before long, and then we'll be switching to Khorne and whoever else when we decide to fight nearby. Anyway, we got our reinforcements coming in, and, well, actually, they're just about here, or at least Kairos is here, so we're gonna set up the main stack while Kairos moves to start irritating the enemy army, as he usually does. does with all that spell work. The enemy is going to slow him down a teensy bit with the Curse of the Slug and dropping his movement speed by 50%, so he gets there a little bit slower than he normally might, but the magical artillery will finally begin as he starts hosing down those chosen of Nurgle with blue fires. Looks like the enemy's going to counteract it immediately with Fecundity, and they'll probably heal up nicely, but what can you do? In the meantime, though, we had both Kairos and the Golden Griffin of Tzeentch to take the charge from the enemy Furies who surround the two, and then immediately we charge on in with the Screaming Sky Rays, or is it Shrieking Sky Rays, whatever. Shrieking Sky Rays, as well as our own units of Furies, knocking them all out of the sky without being worried that our own Furies will die because they have that barrier to them, which the Nurglite variant does not. Alrighty, the air superiority has been established, and we're going to start working on ground superiority. And as usual, we'll start that with a little bit of good old-fashioned flame through the enemy blob. And I do mean doubling up on the flame, as the pink fires of Tzeentch will be joined by the Exalted Flamer. Do have to watch out for it getting charged by the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, but hopefully we'll be okay. I'm gonna get that Soul Leech of Tzeentch down as well to reduce the enemy effectiveness, and other blue fires to hit the enemy chosen. Like so. And let's see, they've only lost 5 units so far, so they can heal most of their HP up with another Fecundity if we're not careful. But in the meantime, the enemy still has a long way to travel in order to approach us. They do have another unit of Pestigors and the unit of Forsaken. Kind of similar units in some ways, minus the much higher damage but lower armor piercing on the Forsaken. Wait, Pestigors have 28 armor. Oh, interesting. Sandgors are heavily, or at least medium-highly armored, as opposed to the Pestigors, so there's certainly some difference there. But anyway, these guys are pretty darn quick with 16 movement speed, allowing them to get that Beastman charge in rather soon as they head directly towards our lines, beating everybody else, but probably not by much, at least in terms of Forsaken. They are, however, locked in their tunnel vision, as in charging the blue horrors, they get the unit of Chaos Knights moving right through their flanks, and hopefully mowing down a decent amount of them. The rest of the enemy army is moving in. The Chosen continue to take blue fires of Tzeentch to the flanks as they approach. They are going to also probably be the slowest unit on the battlefield, and so they'll take longer to reach us as well. Alright, let's hope that the blue horrors can hold off the piles of Pestigors long enough, as obviously the Pestigors should trounce them rather quickly. Blue horrors are solid units, but they're also super fragile. Just good for their cost and in the early game. Alrighty, and the battle has been joined. We also got to remember that it is not just a matter of defeating the enemy army, it is also a matter of actually killing the enemy forces, rather than allowing them to flee the battle off the map. Alright, and the enemy Chaos Sorcerer Lord has joined the fray and is facing off against one of our own Chaos Sorcerer Lords. Of course, we could send Kairos down, but this amuses me, and probably amuses Tzeentch a little bit more, especially being rivals and all that. And the Chaos Gods, I mean. Anyway, Forsaken and Nurgle now surrounding the Golden Griffin of Tzeentch, which is going to keep them locked in place. Kairos still flying around, annoying the enemy with his casting, as he does. Oh man, I remember the Golden Griffin and the other Lords of Change had that super shiny bug. I don't even... I think this might be the first time I've seen the Golden Griffin of Tzeentch without just having that insane bug, and it's almost like... It feels like a different unit to me. It's like the first time I'm seeing the unit. And because before it was difficult to look at with the wings and the other golden elements of it shining so crazily. Anyway, the bounce power shifted to about 90% in our favor. The enemy Chaos Warriors of Nurgle are probably the only healthy unit remaining. Though there is still this unit of Chaos Warriors of Nurgle that is together with the enemy Chaos Sorcerer Lord. We're going to debuff him with a nice Soul Leech, and we're going to debuff the Nurglite Warriors with a Gaze of Fate, making them go down to -40 attack. And of course we have that great negation on them, so they've got, so we don't have to worry about their contact effects. Isn't it lovely? And when a Nurgle's army usually poisons with pretty much every one of their units, that's a pretty darn solid counter to have. Alrighty, and it looks like with that, the Chaos Warriors of Nurgle are out, the Forsaken are fleeing, and the last of the enemy units have given up, and the battle will be ours. Oh, this sort of angelic light that Kairos keeps getting from the sky when... I'm actually not sure what he does why he gets that. Maybe it's one of the passive effects, I'm not sure. Also, what's with the slow walk? Alright. There we go. You've already defeated them, and I can just slow walk and pose. A lovely little fight. Alright, there we go, another nice little fight, and it is... Oh, he can't actually make use of the healing since Kairos was reinforcing due to his ambushing, but it did certainly pay off. The enemy got to reforge one demon unit, even with whatever low percentage that is, and it's the only demon unit they had, and of course they got to reforge it. Either way, we gotta take the money, and, well, let's see, 42 units lost, not too bad. I think most of the units were from one unit of Marauders, which were facing off against either enemy Marauders or Chaos Warriors or whatever, so kind of makes sense.
Spill their blood for glorious change.
Alright, ooh, hello, what do we have here? Hands of Fate. You have always known this day would come. A great war against the Legion of Decay, with you leading the armies of change. At last you may cast one of the rites inscribed upon your palms at the moment of your creation, but be warned that the other shall disappear. So, for 5 turns we get 10 melee attack when fighting Nurgle, and the other we get 10 missile strength when fighting Nurgle. I guess the melee attack on most of our units is fairly low, so in the situations where we actually get into combat, we'd probably get more mileage out of it than the missile strength, because, yeah, this will power up our flamers a bit and our pink horrors, but they're already doing pretty well, whereas the melee are still relatively weak in the early game. So, the left hand, White Hot Talons. Chant the scar-drawn runes aloud, and your changeling's limbs will catch light with blue-gold fire, all the better to burn away diseased flesh. Alright. Enemy killed, Obsidian Amulet, Player of Games, Controlled, Tzeentch Philosopher, Grimoires from own building, from all buildings in own local province. Great if we have a, you know, lord that is sitting in a place, which we do not at the current time. Though, well actually, I'm just curious here. Let me just see here. Amateur discovered. Oh, too far. Gotta keep an eye on these Beastmen factions as we... Oh, hello, the Blue Scribes are becoming available. As I recall, it takes a while to get them on field, though. So anyway, capture 500 battle captives, at least that should be pretty easy. They're also definitely gonna go into a different army than Kairos, because it would be a waste. Anyway, parchment has been seen falling from the skies over nearby battlefields. The scribblings upon them bind powerful magics into the pages, waiting to be unlocked by any who might claim them. Where they came from or why they litter the fields of war remains a mystery, yet one thing is for certain. Every word brims with the Changer's arcane power. If the culprits behind this flurry of spells are ever to be located, questions must be asked. Perhaps those captured in battle may have tales to tell us. Alright, we'll find out shortly. Now, you're gonna join one of the armies. Cairo, well, I mean, we'll put you into Kairos' army for now. I guess the only issue is we have to hunt this guy down. And, well, I wonder if we'll still be able to reach you. Wait, can one of you guys reach him? They can. Maybe we can use Kairos to reinforce, because I'd really hate to not be able to hit both locations at once. So go right to there, Kairos. Try to reinforce. This is elements remaining of the armies that were just destroyed, unless I'm mistaken. Can you still... Oh, you're out of... Damn it. That's unfortunate. Oh well, what can you do? Well, then we can just have Kairos go for this. Alright, fine. You can move in here. You can take the Chaos Furies. As in another one of the Chaos Furies away from Kairos, at least for now. The blue and pink horrors and stuff are going to... Oh, right. We also unlocked the chromatic abominations. Preparing for the horror army, but, well... In some ways, all of our armies are horror armies. Anyway, let's get the Weave of Time up and running. Let's also get the Warplinth up and running. Is it the Stygian Well? Yes, it's the Stygian Well. We can get more money out of this. 2,000 gold for the Cultist Enclave seems a little bit steep, though, so let's prioritize the stuff which will make us more money first, and another stuff later. Alright, like so. And we got 2 of the Cultist locations. We have here... we don't have the Web of Secrets, so this place isn't generating a lot of cash, and we still probably want it, especially considering that it reduces the construction time in the province. This is the only province currently using Mutilith Prism formula as well. The other upgrades here are not worth it at the current time, because this territory isn't... You know what? It's probably never going to generate a ton of money. I mean, the Grimoire thing is still useful. I think maybe once it grows to tier 4, we'll remove the Thaumaturgic Fissure and then replace it with a bunch of military structures. I still think this is probably a great location to go for military. We will then eventually switch it to Dimensional Cascade, but that'll be a long time from now, so now is not the time. Anyway, let us collect money from here. It's not a lot, but it's better than nothing. We could also double the amount of... yeah, double the amount of grimoires. And you might as well just go for the Cultist Enclave and the Cultist Enclave so we don't have to look at them anymore. Alright, lovely. And I guess, well, after we complete the Web of Secrets, we can remove the Mutilith Prism formula and then bump up the Architect's Theorem again. Alright, let's double check what we have in terms of diplomacy. Probably not much. Yeah, not much, if anything. Nothing at all. Also, Kairos, you leveled up again, did you not? Yes, you're rank 10 now. We could get hidden in time to get you the Unspottable in stock, but at the same time, it might be better to just keep saving for Oracle of Eternity. There's a lot of good stuff in here, after all. Just the Winds of Magic cost reduction for Lore of Tzeentch spells alone is pretty crazy. Winds of Magic power reserve +6 per turn is nice. Ooh, more barrier replenishment delay stacking. Yes, that's also nice. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here. Alright, hold off on everything else. I wonder if the 5% extra movement would have allowed us to reach this. You know what, fine. We have a lot... Hey, it did! Okay, that was a good choice then. Alright, I'm glad of that. Wait, are you telling me that Kairos isn't actually reinforcing from here? I can't quite tell. He might not be. Oh, that is so rude. Yeah, it looks like just this guy's reinforcing, eh? And we got 2 Pestigores, 2 units of Plague Toads. I don't think these guys can handle them on their own. Although, what spells do we have access to with you guys? You have Glean Magic, you have Blue Fires. Well, maybe. Do a little tiny battle, which would save us the turn of having Kairos move around. Maybe if he moves this way, but it doesn't look like it. And I wouldn't want to risk not being able to move. Alright, so this is how we'll do it. You're gonna go here. Like so. Increase mobility. You are... oh, we don't have the money for these guys now. I wanted to get the Chromatic Abominations. Fine, we're gonna have to cancel 1 building for it. I guess we'll cancel the Cultist Enclave for 1 turn. We'll get the Chromatic Abominations in here. Then we will have you attack this together. Oh, wait, let's actually get you spells, since Kairos is not reinforcing. Let's max out Blue Fires. It's going to be critical to the win here, as those Plague Toads need to be wiped out. And out of these, I'm going to sell... I should probably get Root Marcher as well, but let's get the Fires of Change passive. And then you have Metal Lore. Well, Gehenna's Golden Hounds should be pretty solid against the Pestigores. Frankly, Searing Doom as well. Well, they're both great spells. Let's do double up on Gehenna's Golden Hounds. Also, how are the magics? You have 100 and you have 100. Oh. Okay, so we should probably use this guy to attack because you have the Lore of Tzeentch and the Blue Fires can be used at great range. We'll do this. And then we'll do this. Alright, oh, we can just... oh, wait, Kairos will reinforce. What the heck, game? You're lying. Why are you lying? Alright, fine. Then we could just start this off. Okay, it's been a roller coaster. Alright, 103 units lost. Early game, Tzeentchian armies really suffer a lot from the auto-resolve, but oh well, what can you do? Another sort of striking. A Tzeentchian Familiar, a Tzeentchian Mutant, Forest Cloak, Victory over Nurgle, whatever. Do you have... no, you do not have... I want you to take that Tzeentchian Familiar to increase that magic item drop chance. And we don't need the Tzeentchian Mutant on you. Frankly, these are going to go on heroes eventually, later, etc. anyway, so we'll just deal with that as we go. But for now, you're fine. You're going to move into Hate March. And you're going to auto-resolve... oh, you are not going to auto-resolve it. Alright, fair enough. There you go. You can have that. And we'll probably just manually fight this real quick. I mean, it's not really anything. If you move into March stance, you cannot move into March stance. Alright, so you two are just going to have to stay here and not leech, because otherwise you might get attacked by this guy, who might have additional forces available to him next turn. Watch him get like 3 regiments of renown and kill you both. Would be unfortunate since we went through all this effort to level you. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have made you... Wait, go here. I wonder if you can reinforce both now. I think you can. I hope you can. Huh. Or maybe I just screwed you over, but I guess we'll see, unless the game is lying again. Yeah, we still need another 200 gold. Alright, we can get that. Go in here real quick. I will manually fight this because the game is being silly, that's why. Alright, also while the game is loading, or while the battle is loading, for those unfamiliar with the way we do things on the channel, we do a little bit of an engagement threshold to determine both campaign length, episode length, etc, etc, etc. So, the way that it works is this: if this episode gets, let's say 500 likes and 70 comments, the next episode will be hour adjacent in length, as well as in not the sort of standard 30-40 minute episodes, but the longer episodes, whatever time that entails. Let's say it's very difficult to pin down a time in Old World. The problem is there's a lot of editing to do at the end turns, because every single end turn is like 3 minutes ish, and then it's hard to know exactly how long an episode will be. It's a lot easier in Immortal Empires. Anyway, let's just get you guys in here. Kairos are going to do most of the damage, because I don't want these guys getting any more hurt, because, I mean, whatever turn we're on, we've never had a full HP army, essentially, because I just keep letting these guys all get damaged. Alright, you guys go in the center, you go in the center, you're going here. You can probably help, because nobody will be able to catch you. Start deployment. Let's get the flyers actually moving over here, because you are all going to go after the... Is that 2 units of Furious? Okay, that's 2 units of Furious, so we're gonna have to deal with those. And I believe that's it. Yes, good. Alright, start deployment, Kairos. You can immediately activate Forbidden Rod. Flyers, you can move forward. You can go in and annoy those Forsaken to some degree. Flyers, get ready to move. And then we can glean magic from you, I guess. Target is not a spellcaster. Oh, neither of them are spellcasters. Huh, even the cultists. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess cultists are using rituals. Alright, fair enough. Go do some blue fires, please. Go. Do a crime. Alright, there we go. Alright, you guys are all moving in. How the Curse of the Slug does. How rude. Alright, and then we're gonna pop the debuffs on all of these guys. And you're gonna pop the... There you go. Shield of Thorns. That'll speed it up. Alright, this is good. And then we'll activate the caster superiority on Kairos. You guys can all turn off your skirmish mode. Lord is under attack. Yeah, I don't care. At least not right now, not here. I'm really surprised that none of the enemy are casters. But it's more of an enemy problem than ours. Alright, let's just get a few more blasts out here and then move away and then stop speeding it up. Alright, you guys are good. All of you get ready to hit the... You know what, you and Kairos can be group 1. Y'all can go after the chariots in a second. I would like Kairos to move forward. Maybe get a blue fires going just to damage some of the enemy units. Especially the one that's healing. How dare it heal? Nobody said they could do that. Right, you, get handle the golden hounds in front of the enemy. A little bit of area denial, separate the enemy armor. And flyers, you go after this. Kairos, move forward. Let's also speed this up a little bit. I would like the Beast of Nurgle trapped in place, so then I would like to start blasting. Like so. Alright, knights, get ready to charge forward. You move around and get ready to go after that 1 unit of Chaos Warriors. Kairos, good job. You can land and maybe activate your ability. You guys are probably going to do your damage to your own units too much. You guys can now back off because the enemy Chaos Warriors are coming. And... probably no need for any kind of area denial. Might lose a couple of the range units, but not a big deal. Alright, the rest of this is good. Kairos and Lucar, let's have you... Oh, do not do that. You're gonna kill off a bunch of Chaos Knights if you're not careful. Let's get some of those Beasts of Nurgle attack. Let's also have all of the range units focus them down in particular. There we go, blue fires hit them. Kairos, you can get a little bit of fireball going. You guys back off. Lucar, you can debuff the enemy with the anti-casting. Looks like the enemy has summoned the Great Unclean One. Maybe should provide its cultist. Wait, you're telling me that the cultist is already level, like, 14 or whatever it is? Or is it because it's a hero cultist? Huh. As in, it's a cultist from a... that's very curious. Not entirely sure. You guys come back. I kind of wanted to watch the Great Unclean One fight. Oh well, not a big deal. You can move in, buff everybody up. Just do damage, you guys go after the chariots, and Kairos, you can debuff the Unclean One and such. Wait, does the Unclean One count as a caster? It does not. Oh, well, darn. Alrighty, and we should be just about done here. Oh, I forgot about this unit. Alright, do we want to waste the Chaos Knights on it? Nah, just get the Flamer to deal with it. Alright, Great Unclean One is out. You can move on and go after the enemy lord. You guys can fire upon the range units. Nobody is damaged of any kind of significance. Could also use Lamprey's Bite on somebody if we wanted to. Stop that unit in its tracks. Alright, there's the Gaze of Fate, and... You're taking a long time to kill off this cultist. Come on, we have the superior cultist here. You can do better. Alright, you guys run down the enemy Chaos Lord, and I'll speed this back up in a few seconds, as the enemy army should be shattering shortly. You on a Searing Doom. These guys, is anybody damaged? Got like 10% damaged on the cultist, so let's do that. And heal them up a teensy bit. Well, I guess it's not necessary anymore. Alright, there we go. Whoa, okay, you just stop firing, stop firing. Let's not burninate too many of our own units. Always a risk of that. Alright, lovely. And with that, we're done. Chase the enemy down for a few seconds, while Mr. Lucar the Indecisive heals up. Alright, 9 losses, 3, 4. I would have expected most of them to have been from that Great Unclean One, but... Yeah, I guess the cultists that are in enemy garrisons and settlements have the ability to summon it immediately, whereas our own cultist has to be like level 20 or something like that in order to open a greater gate. I don't remember, do the lesser gates, so the regular gates of Tzeentch, do they summon blue horrors or pink horrors? Because we can summon blue horrors with the iridescent horrors. What do you guys do? I'm gonna double check that. I'm just interested because of how many potential summons could we get on the map at once via various heroes. So let's find out. Alright, another Tzeentch mutant, all the Tzeentch mutants in the world. Hey, a disc of Tzeentch for both of our little friends there. Wand of Whimsy, base weapon damage and melee attack enabled of casting, affects allies in range. Huh, that's actually quite nice. Wait, you're telling me everybody on the map, the effect range is infinite, will get... everybody on the map will get melee attack plus 10. That's actually really good. That's... unless I'm misunderstanding how this works, why is this a basic item, gray item? Odd. Well, either way, I guess one of you will occasionally be casting, but the problem is in Kairos' army, I mean, comparatively nobody will. You can pick up this little Wand of Whimsy. We can also get rid of the Sword of Striking and the Biting Blade, because they're terrible. And we got a Talayan Pavis. Yeah, sure, we can put it on one of these little guys, because they do a little bit of range damage, why not? Obsidian Amulets, everybody can have those, I guess, in case they miscast. I'm just wondering, we could just delete the Forest Cloaks and we get something nicer. Don't really care for the Terrifying Mask of E, or frankly, the Ruby Ring of Ruin, so let's just fuse those. And to another Obsidian Lodestone. Alright, fine. Everybody gets the spell resistance, which, to be fair, is seems appropriate for Tzeentch. Yeah, let's get rid of the Forest Cloaks. And we get a Book of Secrets out of it. Fate of Biuna. 20 seconds, enfeebling foe, withering heat. Random effects, affects enemies in range 100. Yeah, fair enough. Seems like a neat thing. I like the randomness aspect of it. Seems Tzeentchian enough for our purposes, and Kairos didn't have an enchanted item anyway, so that works for me. Certainly worth the loss of the Forest Cloaks. Anyway, Talayan Pavis, Book of Secrets, and I guess we're good. Alright, Kairos, you did level up again to level 11, but it's 14 we're waiting for, so keep on holding on to those points now. You guys have reached rank 6, which means we can get replenished troops. And replenished troops, which was the important aspect. Starting to heal a little bit more, which is just wonderful. And you, Revelrous Warhost? I guess the pink horrors at least are, you know, pretty friendly and entertaining. Jolly, I should say. Like Nurgle minions, but I should get rid of new physician, shouldn't we? Start moving through that, but Maybe max out to increase mobility. Anyway, yeah, Revelrus Warhost sounds very much like a Slaneshi one to me. But anyway, let's get that Cultist Enclave back up and running. Lovely. That's all the cash we got for now. And as soon as we have a few bucks to spare, what we'll want to do is, now that we have completed the construction of the fire building, get a couple more screamers and a couple of flamers. Ugh, it's also expensive. Might as well probably bring a few marauders or something out here. We should be splitting off our second army relatively soon, so gotta prepare for it, especially now that we have the Horrors Regiments of Renown. And they can sort of act as the linchpins of that particular army because, well, Kairos doesn't really need the help. Let's see, Anasan skill points, cult upgrade available, and I believe we're ready to end another turn. End turn. Alright, Way of Time, track army, swell, but that's not what we really wanted here. It is us trying to move towards persistent change in Storm of Fire. I guess it's faster, to almost twice as fast to go to Storm of Fire before persistent change, so we'll go through that. Though I do like, chance of plague spreading reduction. You know what, maybe we're fighting Nurgle right now, so maybe we'll start with that. Though I don't see any plagues up and running as yet. And A, with the additional movement range... Oh, don't collect the income here, I forgot to do that, my bad. And we started with Thaumaturgic Load, eh? Huh. You know what, keep this here. The additional growth to start isn't bad, but the main great thing about this is the additional casualty or punishment rate, even if it isn't much. We'll delete it later, but for now, since the place is still growing... well, we should make use of it. Alright, you're gonna go to Ebon Keep. Let's see if there's any buildings to upgrade. Ah, yes, our new warplinth for more money. And our second new warplinth for more money. And our third new warplinth for more money. Wait, this is a lattice, but it's also for more money, so I'm not lying. Alright, there we go. And you're basically there where you need to be, so maybe... one more turn and then we'll switch out of Mutolith Prism formula. Alright, how's our Grimoires looking? Pretty okay. We do also have... oh, I guess if we use the... wait, where's the changing of the ways? We could use Scriveners of Insanity, right? Oh, well, actually we can't do it. Well, actually we can do it right now, as long as we're not besieging, so we could start moving towards Ebon Keep by stopping here, and then we can immediately switch the thing anyway. I like it. Do that. Hopefully this doesn't kill your movement range. No, you're still okay. Okay, good. Then we'll pop off the Scriveners of Insanity on Kairos. Like so. And I'm wondering what these will do once we have Tzeentch ascended, but the Grimoires per turn alone is pretty solid, plus Grimoires gained from battle and all regions faction-wide construction time reduction, which is nice as well. Magic Flare, I probably could have actually used that for the fight against Tamurkhan. Oh right, Night of Madness. We have the research rate bonus. I don't really care about the spell intensity, but we should probably get this up and running right now just to get this... research rate up and running as fast as we can. So let's do it. Get it all on cooldown. And yes, in theory, we might want to have this when... oh, control minus 50 local enemy province. Huh, that's interesting. But none of that matters, I think. None of it matters because we want the spell intensity, and regardless of how long the cooldown on this one is going to be, 15 turns, not bad. Let's do that. And we'll want to get them all on cooldown anyway, just before the end of this, just in case Tzeentch becomes Ascendant next. Anyway, there we go. Now we have the Scriveners of Insanity and the Night of Madness, which shaves 2 turns off of the... actually, does it? Because it's only for 2 turns. Might not actually shave... well, I mean, and we get the point surplus as well. Whatever, just let it do its thing. Anyway, you're going to Ebon Keep. And... I'm just going to hope that we can auto-resolve this. So let's move the others in to help out as well. You... oh, can you actually reach this? You can. Lovely. You're gonna go here. And you are also gonna be able to reach it. Beautiful. And you're gonna go here. Trying to blitz down Tamurkhan before he can react. We should be reaching Zenbaijin relatively quickly here. Let's just double check here. He has some balance of power, just out of curiosity. 5.6k. Okay, if he was willing to offer us like 20k, I would have been like, I'd consider that. But not for this. Anyway, this will auto-resolve. 319 damage, still more than I'd like, but this was obviously not worth our time. Occupy. And another Tzeentch mutant and a Berserker sword. Twisted Expanse secured, which is now going to go into... I guess we'll need to start in Foster Cults. I'll start in Foster Cults. As for here, we'll probably... Oh! Wait, let me just see here. This place actually has good magics. Isn't that lovely? Funnily enough, we'll actually probably... Well, let me just see here. How are the magics on you guys? Kairos could actually use this, so we'll switch this magic to the Cliffs of Death, which would actually generate more money right now, because we don't have anything here that would benefit, but eventually we'll switch back, because the Cliffs of Death is only a 2-territory province, and this doesn't benefit nearly as much as literally every other province. Anyway, start with the Web of Secrets, I guess, and then hopefully the Public Order won't screw us too hard, and then hopefully you... How are you... You got another Chosen. How do you keep rebuilding troops so fast? While running away, and never in your own territory. Can Nurgle use its version of recruitment? I mean, it's got, you know, a different, almost like a Raised Dead-like version of recruitment. Can it use it outside of its own territory? Is that what it's doing? And how does it keep getting so many Chosen? Zambajin is a tier 3, these two are tier 2. Interesting. Well, good for Nurgle. Not so great for us, but good for Nurgle. Anyway, let's skip, and let's end the turn, and let's proceed to hunt him down. We'll see if Tamurkhan returns before the end of his faction. Alright, Mon 4 has been destroyed. Oh no, wait, does that mean we just lost our cult? No, looks like the Skaven kept to the place. Okay, well that's good. Branching plans, we'll probably want to build another one at Castle Sangas as well, and just hopefully keep those cults growing. Ambusher discovered, Nemesis Crown. It'd be nice to get the Nemesis Crown for ourselves. I'll have to keep an eye on that, especially since we can teleport over there, pick up the Nemesis Crown, and then possibly teleport back. Actually, how would we teleport back? That's a question. Alright, anyway, these guys keep getting chosen, and we gotta punish them for it. Because I'm jealous. Anyway, you're gonna go into ambush stance right here. We'll try to pull off the same thing where these two, both of whom have full mana, I take it? Yeah. You two are going to switch out to Tzeentch and Corruption, so summoning stance right there at the edge of Kairos's, and you at the edge of Kairos's range as well. Like so. Please don't tell me this guy's gonna block. Yep. No, you're okay. Beautiful. Alrighty, let's see if they fall for that. This is surprisingly little effectiveness in terms of ambushing, though. It's kind of surprising. Anyway, let's upgrade Ebon Keep immediately, and as always, into a Dark Bastion. Like so. And let's double check whether we need to spend more money. Okay, definitely on the Warp Length, and we can't afford this Warp Length, but soon. Anyway, you're still collecting money, everything else is fine. We just need to get more cash for now. How's our tribute looking? 253. Man, it really waxes and wanes, doesn't it? It seems to be dropping off and then coming back, etc. Why did you take the Trails of Hushut if you weren't going to build it up? Maybe the tribute that they're sending us is costing them some bankruptcy? Huh, they're looking to claim Hellcade Drove here. The nice thing is that if they take any territories we don't want them to have, we could always just take them from them using our settlement transfers, which we could still do. We are looking to get the Chaos Dwarfs to become our vassals relatively soon as well, mostly because we want access to their fire units. I do, however, I'm a little bit wary of doing this right now, simply because I feel like as soon as you vassalize a faction, it becomes a lot weaker, as in it stops upgrading stuff and stops just being useful. So I think maybe we'll wait a little bit before we do any of that, or at least with the Chaos Dwarfs. Reveal Shroud, is that going to do anything for us right now? I would like to see what's going on with these guys. The Tamurkhan's faction is basically destroyed. Is this a separate territory, or is this the same territory? It's the same territory. They have just the 3 settlements remaining, yeah. I'd love to move immediately up the Bastion Stair, and then, or I guess this is the Bastion Stair, but anyway, up to the Realm of Corn, but I think we're wanting to loop back around briefly to wipe out these greenskins because they don't like us, and they're kind of, you know, open to attacking in any direction, which ain't so great. Anyway, let's skip. Let's end the turn. Let's see whether we can get these guys ambushed. Alright, no dice on the ambush, but it looks like they didn't even attempt it. I guess this army thought that it wasn't strong enough to deal with just these two, which is a little bit surprising, but, well, what can you do? Gragamagar camp or clan destroyed. Knight of Madness for Kairos completed his unholy manifestations, and ooh, gotta get that chromatic tome up and running as fast as possible. But tier 5 is gonna take a little bit of effort, let's say. What do we have here in Twisted Pillars? Oh, actually, it might be worth fighting. Not as worth fighting as Zenbai Jin, I'd wager, though at the same time, what we could do is this. You could use teleport stance to kill this guy off immediately. Granted, it would be fairly costly, but then we wouldn't have to worry about chasing these guys down, especially Kazak. Assuming that... oh, actually, no, that won't work. I was hoping that one of the little minion lords would be able to immediately reach Twisted Pillars, but it looks like they're... wait, actually, can you reach Twisted Pillars? Looks like you can, unless the game is being weird about it. So if you can do this... let me just test this out. Alright, you can do this, then Kairos can ambush Hubas Manticore. Oh, likes it. Wait. You will want to actually reinforce. Go right there. Probably not relevant or not super relevant if we're doing this, but anyway. Oh, I should have actually kept you guys both in that channeling stance, but oh well, too late. Kairos, then you go here. And then kill this guy with great ease because he has nothing. Probably still gonna damage ourselves in auto-resolve, but we can heal now, so it doesn't concern us nearly as much as it once did. Obviously take the tribute, because it's good money. And another Forbidden Rod, and hello, Prismatic Amplifier. More Winds of Magic recharge, more Winds of Magic capacity. Ooh, it's probably gonna go on one of the minion heroes in Kairos' army. I like it. I like it a lot. You're gonna go here, or forward, whatever, like here. And then, not Kairos, but Ragnar Heldenmouth, you are going to auto-resolve this, because it's not worth our time either. Lovely. Free Iron Curse icon, occupy. More stuff that will eventually turn into better stuff. Banner of Change. So basically, your unit gets sacrificed and destroyed if, I don't think so, at least not right now. What do we have here? Sentient Stormcloud, Bombardment, Small Strike Area. I take it this gives us an Uranon's Thunderbolt. Oh, wait, it's a passive. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. I actually do like that. You lose this. This is going in a War Shrine. And specifically, Lucar the Indecisive. You're going to take this. Sentient Stormcloud. A Prismatic Amplifier. You can hold on to the Trickster Shard. I think we'll give that to the Iridescent Horrors, because that sounds like something that they should have. Oh, you have the Rod of Whimsy. You can have this then. I might as well give the Obsidian Lodestones to these guys as well. Not the Forbidden Rods, and we lose the Relic Sword and the Berserker Sword. Into a Potion of Healing. Very nice. Alright. Kairos could... well, no, you should keep the Book of Secrets for now, and then maybe change it to... something else, I'll think about it. But anyway, something to do with more mana and such, but... yeah... he will have regrowth because of the... well... no. We can have regrowth right now. You can't. You have Glean Magic. Right. We'll keep that for now. Regrowth is next, I believe. And then last, I take it is the... last, I take it is this one. Whichever we end up using, but most likely we will take regrowth out of this so that Kairos doesn't need any additional healing. Anyway, that did take a lot of his mana, so we'll need more mana. Don't collect the income here for obvious reasons. Keep the Thaumaturgic load, at least for now, while we grow the place, and then let's keep growing all the other places. Dark Bastion, ooh. Takes 4 turns. We should probably just switch to Mutalith Prison Formula then. It does reduce all other types of corruption anyway, it's just that the public order here is still iffy, but what can you do? The buildings here are good. Here are... okay, wait, no, we have to focus the warp length here. Like so. We got 2 more turns until we can get the Dark Bastion here, and then what about here? Yeah, go for the Weave of Time, go for the Thaumaturgic whatever, and then you can switch to the Architect's Serum. Perfect. Alright, buildings are done in terms of construction there. We'll still upgrade this, but next turn. And then everything else here is looking good to me. Tamurkhan will probably return with Lildred, and he's got another Chosen. Okay, last time I played Nurgle, I don't remember getting that many of the elite units that quick. This guy keeps getting a new Chosen every single turn. And I wonder if the AI cheats about that, or whether it's been reworked. I'm gonna check out Nurgle again at some point. Anyway, let's skip, cult upgrade, and turn. Alright, Scheme of Doom performed. I see no Tamurkhan as yet. Ambusher discovered. Whispering Wells. Tzeentch corruption +5 in the Hill of Bones. I guess that's useless because this is already maxed out Tzeentch corruption. A swarm of shimmering blue-pink sigils appears suddenly upon every available surface, each one contradicting the last. Some who gaze upon them strike up uncontrolled screaming, while others chant in a tongue unrecognizable to even Tzeentch's most trusted servants. It is then that the sigils begin to whisper. Alright, and hello, the tale of the true path. So the night progresses towards the truth. I guess we'll give this a read as well. Ensure that the chapter house of knowledge is built tier 4. Yeah, makes sense. Gotta get those chosen up and running. Well, we're well on our way to getting our first tier 4 settlement side wager. Probably... Huh. Wait, is Fort Dolgenjar actually growing faster? I guess it was not collecting income for long enough to have actually gained a little bit of extra growth, Alright, fine, fair enough. Let's give this a read. Word has spread of a noble son, a once great knight of the Empire who roams the Chaos Wastes in search of a greater purpose. Most remarkably, he bears the insignia of a Tzeentchian cult, the Brethren of the Golden Eagle. His loyalties had him pursued doggedly for a time by the Templars of Sigmar, the Empire's witch hunters, but once they caught up, he proved his status as the greatest swordsman in his knightly order. Perhaps in time, this champion in the making will make his way to us, but in the meantime, we must ensure there are more like-minded warriors to help him embrace chaos. Consider Confederation. Hello. Cult of Mirrors is currently... Wait, I just wanted to look at what's going on over there. Game, please. They're currently at war with this little beastman tribe who don't dislike us. They'll probably wipe them out. We'll lose the cult here, but having another location right at the stairs towards the realm of Tzeentch feels like a good idea. Obviously, the Confederation debuff is going to hurt quite a lot, especially in our newly acquired territories, but I just can't say no to this, especially as it puts us next to the Black Pyramid of Nagash as well. It's too good of a location, so we'll do it. Join Confederation. This is a bad idea. Oh, the 8 control is gonna hurt so much. Okay, so you can get back in here and defend it in case you need to. Portal of Twilight. You can get at least some money in Grimoires. Then we need you to not hate us. Non-aggression pact, please. All right. I did want various Beastmen allies anyway. And ooh, what do we have here? City of Dust. Bel Aliad, looking pretty darn cool out here. This map is so damn good. Alrighty, anyway, we'll probably be taking that over at some point. EU, what do you have in terms of traits? Changebringer, missile resistance, and speed, I mean, not horrible. I do like speed, it's just that I'm not... Oh, I actually did want to take a look at what the Heralds can do in terms of their unique traits. I assume... Okay, so you have the Locus of Change and Conjuration and similar stuff the exact same way that your... Summon Blue Horrors, fair enough. The exact same way that the little guys do, the Iridescent Horrors. Arrakis Kin gives us additional speed and missile strength for Blue Horrors. I mean, I guess we could make a super speedy blue and pink horror army, though, funnily enough, I wanted to do that blue and pink horror army up where Kairos currently is. I guess we could reset this guy and still send him to deal with him, because we could get 10 speed from this, another 25 speed from this, and then, wait. I think we get more speed from Horrific Advancement. Yes, even more speed. So just ultra quick pink horrors, do a little bit of a horror run and gun. That might be kind of interesting. Frankly, we could do 2 armies, because Horror Run and Gun would probably be different than a Malevolent Ranger horror army, because the Malevolent Ranger trait allows you to get like an extra, I want to say 34 armor or something along those lines on pink horrors and blue horrors, making them a lot more fighty. Also, what do you have? Cruel. Greater Magic Bond. Oh, that's not bad. Can you move in here? Not yet. Next turn. And then what do you have? You have a Conspirator, which is terrible. Okay, fair enough. I take it we only have room for 3, as in We're at 4 out of 3 now. Yeah. Well, we should get some more of these cruel ones for Kairos. More magic. Ever more magic. Anyway, you're gonna stay here. We unfortunately can't afford to get you anything in terms of building. I am very concerned about the loss of control here. You have no control building, but I also don't think we can afford to reduce the... go for the public order bonus then. Or is the public order architects here? We can reduce the income right now. Okay, back to where we started. Oh, I love the fact that it's all the way on the other side of the map. It's fantastic. You're in -3, which isn't horrible. We will now drop below max, which is unfortunate because we were getting bonus power reserve minimum. And additional cash. But -3 isn't so horrible, and -4 isn't so horrible, so we're not uncollecting the income here. -4 here now. We're just gonna have to take it, I think. This place is much worse because we have... Okay, we have to immediately switch you out of this into Mutalith Prism Formula, and to make sure that the place doesn't rebel, I guess we're gonna go into a convolution. We'll still invest in upgrading the place, like so. I would have preferred to upgrade you, but I think we have no choice but to go for the Architect's Theorem here as well. Kairos, you... I gotta be kidding me, you can't reach Zambajin, and you can't either. Well, that's a shame. Alright, fine. You are then going to go into, I guess, channeling, because we need to max you out. And then stay in our own territory so that you can still heal. You guys keep traveling with him, though we might actually need to send one of you down there to deal with the horrific public order. You are going to go summoning stance, and then you are going to go summoning stance as well. Like so. And I think what we will do is after we've wiped out these guys, yes, we will go back to wipe out the greenskins rather than immediately proceeding to the Realm of Khorne. I'd like to proceed to the Realm of Khorne with a couple of new armies and a bunch of new units rather than the ones we've been using since the start. I think that'll be better with more variety. Huh. Ruskins are doing pretty okay here. Looks like they've taken the territory from the ogres. I was hoping they'd be willing to peace out and give us a ton of money for it, but oh well. There's a little Tzeentch faction up here, eh? I'm just double checking what else we got. Maggot Host wants to peace out, but that's obviously not going to happen, and I believe that's all we've got for this turn, so let's end the turn. Oh, look at all these quests now. Alright, well, we're working on them. Both on the Blue Scribes and a cold Hellbrows. End turn. Alright, Cult proliferates, and what do we have here? A little Blue Vipers Savage Orc Tribe. Cool. Ludred is still there, so he isn't trying to move to Ebon Keep as yet, though we do have to keep an eye on it. Ooh, we did fix our public order here. I was worried about that. Actually, speaking of here, let us... I guess continue bumping up the... Oh, wow, 1,200 gold for... Well, it's another +3. Yeah, fine. Build it for now. Decent likelihood we delete it and replace it with more money, but for now it's fine as it is. The other locations are fine as they are as well. And I've had an idea about what we can do with this army all the way down here. And the map is big. And what we can do with it is, you move in here. Like I said, the run-and-gun pink horrors, and we can combine them with cockatrices. Basically, the idea will be that since these guys are already going to be super quick with all the speed buffs that they get, and then on top of that, cockatrices have that massive speed reduction that they provide to enemies using their petrifying gaze, so anybody who dares to approach the pink horrors will just, well, be unable to do so. And this will also allow us to get this army up and running relatively quickly because we will just start spamming blue horrors because they're super cheap, and then slowly over time evolve them to pink and exalted pink horrors, but it'll allow us to do some work against various enemies. I do wonder whether we should confederate more of these factions out here or just, you know, destroy them. Tzeentch does have a tendency towards infighting, although I guess all the Chaos Gods have some tendency towards infighting, so yeah. Anyway, Kairos, you're going for Zambajin, which I take it is walled, and improves tower projectiles. Oh, darn. I think that means that it will not work as a cinematic battle, unfortunately. Although, I wonder if they'd be willing to sally out. Wait. Huh. Wait, I have an idea. Kairos, go from this direction. Hopefully this is... Okay, hopefully this doesn't screw you over. Basically, what I want is this guy to be able to march stance closer to us while we besiege and then fight in the field rather than non-cinematic, because this is probably going to be the biggest fight that we get out of Nurgle. Okay, I did this backwards, like so. We'll see what these guys do as well. You guys can sort of sit right beside Kairos.
Infinite knowledge awaits.
Huh? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Should we trade the cultist to you? You know, for now, stay, but keep it in mind. And keep, huh. Are you actually not able to reach these guys? Okay, let's not risk it. Go here. Unless that was a fluke. Wait, can you go back into it? You cannot. And channeling does nothing for us? No. Alright, so you all just stay here. We'll give these guys a shot. Maybe, with March Stance, they can actually move further than it looks like they can here. Maybe these guys will sally out. I doubt it. If they don't, we'll just attack them next turn. It's no biggie, I think. This would be a fun army to fight. Look at all those Savage Orcs. We got Savage Giants in there as well. Definitely something we'll want to do. I don't think we should upgrade this as yet, because if these guys start moving this way, then we're going to have to react to it. Ugh. The distinct possibility. I'm wondering whether we should just attack it right now, because that would avoid the issue. I'll give them a shot, though. I'd like to fight it in the field, so I'm willing to risk taking some damage. And otherwise, we're mostly good. We only need to build stuff in Kadatha Plateau, which is not an issue for us. Man, how close are we to the Staff of Tomorrow? We really need the public order fix right now. Rank 15, eh? And this gives us hero recruit rank capacity for cultists. Honestly, kind of a meh weapon. Kairos probably doesn't have too much of an issue with the miscasting anyway, and then I guess we get 10% spell mastery out of it, but otherwise it's kind of a meh weapon for Kairos, considering it's his only quest item. He has no set bonus either. It's a little bit surprising, but not a big deal. Anyway, let us restart recruiting right now. I mean, they're only blue horrors. Yeah, fine. We'll start recruiting the blue horrors here. You know what? Now, let's wait a couple of turns. I would like to upgrade the new province first and then do that. And then we'll move that army out after. Let's skip, and then turn. Alright. That's 4 control for 500 gold. We'll do that. There is a vexing problem. At random, your sorceress constructs are collapsing into pools of iridescent mulch as though consumed from within. Your followers are disquieted. Will they be next? Perform a rite of equilibrium. Have your sorceress invoke a great ward of stabilization. Though draining, it should lock your followers' fluctuating forms to this plane of existence. Sure. Confederation Tong and Dolgan. These guys just got bigger. Good for them. Also Slanesh Giggle. Yeah, so it looks like we gambled and lost, and these guys, still building Chosen every turn. Looks like the Zenbai Jin, army did not sally out of it, so we're just going to fight it. I'll try this cinematically. It might not work, and if it doesn't, then we'll just do it manually instead. Still gotta fight it, though. Go. Alrighty, here we go. We've got an actual proper garrison here, nearly a full stack, in addition to the fact that we've got those walls to overcome. This will also be the first time we're gonna see the Tzeentch towers and ram, which are pretty darn neat looking. I like the sort of crystal being used as a ram, the crystal growing from inside and breaking through the roof of the little ram, I don't know, wheelhouse or whatever the heck you want to call this thing. It's pretty neat, is what I'm getting at. And the Tzeentch towers are pretty nice as well, full of marauders here, and they will be disgorging their units rather shortly as well. Alright, assuming of course they actually reach the enemy walls, but it looks like without sufficient enemy units up there to actually activate those towers, we're okay. Anyway, we are sending forth our flyers first to go over the walls immediately and hopefully hunt down the enemy flyers. Smartly though, it looks like the enemy flyers have decided not to engage our own and are instead going over the walls and sallying out. Certainly something of a rarity for the AI. But I always applaud the move when the AI actually manages to pull it off, and it looks like they are not going to fly back towards our pink and blue horrors. Instead, they're going to surround and hit our unit with the ram from both sides. Saneshi giggle, but very nice. And the fact that the two units don't interfere with each other to do this, to do as much damage as possible to the Marauders, is pretty good. That said, we are immediately going to react to this. Gaze of Fate will reduce the melee attack of one of the units to 0. The other will get hit with a Spirit Leech and a something. A lot of somethings, probably. Soul Leech of Tzeentch, and debuffing them, and they are also blinded from something. Oh, is it the Golden Griffin of Theurgy? Yeah, it's the Golden Griffin of Theurgy. So lots of debuffs on these guys, basically all their melee attack, all their melee defense gone, and while they were able to, on the charge, do, 10-15% of the damage to our units, we were able to shield them with thorns, and then help them out and destroy the enemy buzzing drones. And it went well. It went pretty darn well for us. I mean, it wouldn't have, if we would have destroyed them in the sky, we would have destroyed them on the ground. I guess it makes no difference. Kairos' victory was foreseen either way. And there we go, we have arrived on top of the walls. Beaky little towers going to disgorge their complement of Marauders, who are going to start their fight against the enemy Plague Bearers. Fortunately for us, Marauders of Tzeentch have magical attacks. And that means that they are actually well poised to be fighting things like Plague Bearers and such, as compared to other Monogod Marauders. We now have absolute air superiority as well, while the rest of our units move on to the battlefield. We're going to get that blue fires into those Plague Toads and take out about 60% of their HP, while we continue dishing out more damage to them with both blue fires and damage from the two iridescent horrors who are firing upon them from on top of those discs of theirs. Alright, and this unit of Plague Toads is nearly out, and in fact will begin melting away. We're also going to land Kairos on top of the walls, and he and the Golden Griffin will apparently knock a few of their own units off the walls. But we'll get ready to go after the enemy Plague Ridden and just generally annoy the enemy Plague Bearers on top of the walls. And there we go. Alrighty, I still think that the devs really need to make siege towers a little bit more interesting, a little bit more worth building, and give them abilities and attacks and stuff as well. Skaven towers with flamethrowers and Chaos Dwarf towers with guns and stuff. These guys could also have flames and maybe even demons riding on top as well. And maybe when they open their mouths, they cast a big old spell on top. There's a lot you could do with these towers. Can be pretty neat. Make sieges feel a little bit more epic again. And also maybe consequently make walls and just gates and stuff just more difficult to take. SFO already does so anyway. But I transfer that to vanilla and just make sieges harder, but also make a siege equipment more valuable. Anyway, all that aside, we've got a big old fight on top of the walls, not quite taking the walls by storm, in the sense that we're not just using our Marauders to cut our way through the enemy, but it is going reasonably well. Golden Griffin of Theurgy still facing off against the enemy Plague Ridden, which is taking a fairly decently long while to dish out damage to, and sorry about the camera work. And that's even with the Plague of Rust upgraded. Had to use it on somebody, even though the Plague Ridden barely has any armor in the first place. Kairos is up here as well, just hoping to do a little bit of splash damage. He does have some of his animations probably capable of knocking a bunch of units around. And of course these screaming, shrieking sky rays in here as well. Probably not capable of using their vortex ability up on top of the walls, though I didn't try, I just assumed that it couldn't be used on the wall. Otherwise, we have broken through the gate now with our ram and the units that were pushing it along, though they are down to about half of the HP they started with, which is about a quarter of their total HP. That said, we've got our other units, our heroes and lords in here as well, 2 cultists and 2 chaos sorcerer lords. And they're going to start cutting through droves of those Plague Bearers together. Can't wait to get a few more Chaos Knight units and, well, sort of echo this thing that's happening here with these guys. Can't let all that fancy armor that Tzeentch has go to waste. Anyway, the Shrieking Skyrays will move down to the Plague Bearers on the ground below while we continue to overrun the last remnants of the enemy units on the walls above. Looks like all the Plague Bearers are nearly out, though the Plague Ridden remains, and the enemy will activate that curse of the slug, but that's actually not what is concerning. We can see the HP of our units up here dropping massively. These guys have... I always forget the name of this thing. Oh, you can't see it here? They have a Clanstone-like ability. They have a... They put it on the ground, basically. We saw them use it against the towers in our ram earlier, but they put it under the wall here, and it's massively damaging everybody here. Meaning we need to get off those walls quickly, or every single one of the units up here will die. How's that Plague Ridden? It's keeping everybody locked in place, but hopefully we can get around it. Really got to get off those walls, at least with the Marauders. It's not a huge threat to the Lords of Change. Alright, it looks like the Plague Ridden will actually follow them rather than dare to face off against Kairos and such, and we'll get off those walls, though we are sufficiently damaged from it to probably not have those units be super viable anymore. Our single entities have moved down towards the enemy Exalted Plague Bearers here, which we did preemptively hit with a nice pink fires, I think, or is it that one that we're going to hit with a nice pink fires? I suppose it doesn't matter over much. And there we go, moved on in, gonna pop the various effects. Searing Flame, Flammable. Lots of where's the Searing Flame from? Oh, we got Book of Secrets. Wow, okay, we got a lot of fire stuff going on now, huh? And I was worried about not being able to stack fire damage. We got Book of Secrets combined with Warp Flame, with Burnt, with Flammable, and with Searing Flame as well. That's a solid amount of fire damage. I love it. Working well for us here, and all told, let's just see here, we have a minus 80% fire weakness. And everybody we got does fire damage, so that should increase their capability quite a bit. The Exalted Plague Bearers down to half of their HP. Granted, their unit quality vastly outstrips that of our own, at least at this time, with us limited to mostly horrors and marauders, but that's going to change sooner rather than later. There's that pink fire's taking about half of the HP off of this one unit of Exalted Plague Bearers as well, which is certainly quite helpful, as it is taking a fairly long time to break through these guys. Without buffs, they've still got... Let's see, okay, I wanted to see what their melee attack and defense was like, but they're significantly debuffed due to a number of things, so I guess we can't see them. It's too late, they've started to melt away as the balance of power has shifted fully in our favor, and it is only a matter of time as we banish the rival demons and claim the place for ourselves. Alright, just a little bit more work, maybe a little bit more fire. Or maybe a little bit more fire. Alright, and it looks like we didn't get a desync this time. Everything is working as it should be. Huh, interesting. I guess the desyncs only happen when the defensive structures increase the health of towers or walls or gates. When it says greatly improves the health of blah 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 blah, but not when it changes perhaps the sort of projectiles from the enemy towers. Maybe that's the case. Yeah, either way, I'm happy to see that there's no desync here. And happy to see the Nurglites destroyed. There we go. With that, the battle is ours. Alright, there we go. Went decently well, rather, though we did take some damage on various numbers of Marauders. Most of the 185 losses were on them, and that not so much due to enemy kills, as we can see. They have, what, 20... probably less than 40, maybe, or 30-ish kills, and we lost 185, mostly to that, I don't know the name of the ability, but the thing that looks like a Skaven Clanstone, and they used it at least once on top of the wall, and it was heavily damaging all of the Marauders that were up there. Gotta be wary of that thing, though not for much longer, as Tamurkhan has now one settlement remaining. How's the public order looking here? -12. Not great. If only we had captured a public order building instead. Funnily enough, we got the... Got the dimensional breach here, which, you know what, at the start might not be bad. Actually, the extra control out of this would have been fantastic, but we'll switch immediately to Infernal Citadel as soon as we grab the Blood Rift, rather than upgrading these. Let's, I guess, temporarily then get the control building, because we're gonna need it. Ranger's Axe and Disc of Tzeentch on one of our Minion Lords. Good for you, Minion Lords. Actually, speaking of Minion Lords, what do we have here? Stalwart, miscast base chance reduction, barrier hit points. It's good for you, not good for the rest of the army. Another diabolical one. Scholarly of the Abyss, Corruption, Skull of Cthulhu, Construction Time, Dark Secrets. Oh, you were, I guess, confederated? Neat. We can use you to ferry troops around, and that way we don't have to pay for any of the other lords, unless there's one that I really like in here. Oh, we got another... Huh! We have another Changebringer, eh? Well, that's quite interesting. Might actually make some use of you. Ward save, physical resistance for the army ain't horrible, and another Changebringer, and favored by winds. Though I do like the enemy ward save reduction, and certainly a nice thing to have. Anyway, you two are going to go into summoning stance. There's nothing that'll give us bonus control here, is there? I don't think so. But that's fine. The Tzeentch corruption alone will... Oh, we're already maxed out in terms of Tzeentch corruption, just waiting for the Nurglite corruption to go down. Ugh, -9 control. It's kind of iffy, but anyway. We'll just have to deal. Altar of Madness. We have currently the Thaumaturgic Load, which we do intend to delete, and in fact, I guess we're probably better off immediately going into the Warplinth / Stygian Well, and then the money-making building here, and we'll build the cult building here last. It is a shame to lose all that growth, though. You know what, maybe we'll wait, and give it a little bit of time, let the place grow a little bit to sort of match the other territories before we start spamming all the other stuff. We have time. 3 more turns. Oh, that Confederation debuff is really hurting us, I do admit. But it's worth it, I think, I hope. Anyway, you, Infernal Citadel at Zamoski, we can build it at 1 turn, so we're good here. I guess that's the Weaves of Time doing that, which kind of makes the Mutalith Prism formulae relatively useless in the early game. Later on, we'll eventually end up switching every province to Mutalith Prism formulae just for the additional grimoires, but for now it's not the most useful. Ragnar, Hildenmouth, and Farmort, you guys are fine where you are. You... I guess we're going to have to keep waiting to build, but you're here and you're ready to go as soon as we have the spare change to make an army out of you. Alrighty, let's skip, and then head towards Tamurkhan and his presumably last fight. Huh, I wonder if these guys are going to start fighting the Norskins. I was going to vassalize these guys. Oh, they've got a lot of territory, though. I mean, I suppose if we're taking the realms of the gods, it doesn't matter as much if these guys hold a bunch of territory up here, though I would be interested to see if there is anything cool up here. I got the coolest place probably in Sunbai, so... Control +1 on local province, fair enough. Chance of plague spreading, guess we don't really need that game anymore. A Nurgle Ascendant! That is tremendously rude, but what can you do? And I was hoping for Tzeentch Ascendant. I think we've gone through all of them now, so it has to be Tzeentch Ascendant next. Alright, well, anyway, we got Pestilent Hatred, so I guess we're gonna move through Way of Manipulation. May as well start moving towards Persistent Change now. I guess at the end of the day, it's probably better that we get the control, because we will be wanting to... Huh, wait, 19 out of 20? You didn't lose a unit, did you?
Flux is the very heart of chaos.
Huh. A moment. The Sour Guts are here. Weird Spawn, Blazing Squealers we don't have unlocked yet. Huh. Okay, maybe we always had 19 units and... I was gonna pop the other cultist in here. I'm just gonna assume that that was the reason. Alright, fair enough. You're gonna go here into ambush stance, so right down at the edge of this territory, and then we'll see if we can't get Tamurkhan to fall for it. Oh. Well, we have to stay in our own territory, so we'll give it a shot. You... You're gonna go as close to Kairos as you can. Maybe we can still pull that off. And then you are going to go near him, but you're gonna mostly just be there to transfer the cultist. Actually, speaking of Kairos, did that level you up to where we needed to go yet? I also probably want a sorcerer in Kairos' army. Not one more level and then we'll be at 14. We'll need 15 for 2 and then 20 for command. Okay, fair enough. What about we have here? Oh, we will want to get changing of the ways, the cooldown reduction. It's not... Excuse me? 3 control all provinces. I didn't even realize you had that. Well, that's concerning, because I guess we're going to have to prioritize that over your unique trade, eh? Alright, fair enough. Control plus 3 all provinces, yep. Okay. It's more worth it than saving that, because it'll be, well, less dealing with the public order issues that we currently have everywhere. And for 2 more turns. Alrighty, now, building. What do we have here? Clips of Death. Ah, you've completed this, so we may as well build the Forgotten Scriptorium and the Weave of Time. Like so. And then... I could get the growth thing. This place is going to be growing very, very slowly if we don't. As much as I'd like to get the Puzzle Maker's Hovel, and frankly, this is probably also going to be a militarized province, simply because we need capacities and it's only 2 territories. But for now, I guess, yeah, we'll go for growth, as otherwise it's going to take 8 million years to get anywhere. You no longer can afford the Infernal Citadel here, but I guess we'll upgrade the Lattice of Destruction. Might as well just max out the growth we get out of these, even if they cost money. Gotta get that early econ flowing after all. And I believe that's it. Alright, let's see if we can't make Tamurkhan fall for this. At least with the bonus control, we hopefully don't have to worry about Zendaijian rebelling, but we'll most likely pass right back through it on our way to wipe out the Nag Rippers, which, well, they don't hate us, but I kind of don't like their position here, and we probably can only max have one work faction. As long as these guys actually start building their stuff, because if they don't, well, here's the problem. You right now are useless to us because you cannot construct spiders, which is what we want. Specifically the big spiders, the Arachnaroks, specifically the Flinger Arachnaroks, for which you need probably the Trail of Kashut, because these places are all tier 3. As in, they don't appear to be... It says major settlement, but it's acting like a minor settlement. I guess it's an ogre territory. Yeah, we really need to give them the suitable... the Trails of Kashut. Maybe it'll rebel without our intervention. We'll see, I guess. Alrighty, well, either way, we're gonna skip. Let's see if Tamurkhan falls for this last ambush. He is back. Still at level 14, though. No Bibabolos on him, unfortunately for him. And it looks like he sort of will fall for it. Not an ambush, mind you, but, well, he's screwed. It says valiant defeat just by virtue, I guess, of the fact that it's Tamurkhan, plus he's got a couple of Chosen in there. I mean, compared to the super basic Marauders, they would just tear them to shreds, but we have Kairos, dude, and he's gonna be casting up a storm, go.
These pitiable fools cannot hope to withstand the dark sorcery and mine.
Alrighty, here we go. Tamurkhan attacks this little army, though what his plan was, I'm not entirely sure. Because of the Disc of Tzeentch and the fact that the other 2 units in this little army are Furies, the enemy could hope to do nothing about them. I suppose they could have sent their 1 unit of Furies against us, but yeah, it wouldn't have gone super well either way. 2 versus 1, plus we got the barrier and the Lord to command them. Anyway, with that, we begin Tamurkhan's last hurrah. He does have 2 units of Chosen in here, and it is kind of an interesting sort of dynamic that we're seeing with the enemy essentially using super high quality troops versus our chaff garbage troops at the current time, at least most of them. I think, what, we can't see the upkeep here. I think Chosen are like 475 or 500 or something like that, whereas, I don't know, Blue Horrors and Marauders are around 100, so a single Chosen is worth essentially 5 of the type of units that we mostly have here. That said, they're only worth that much if they can actually make it towards us, and we're certainly going to make that a little bit difficult for them. Blue Fires of Tzeentch coming in from Kairos, Pink Fires coming in from the Gaping Maws of the Exalted Flamer. Gehenna's Golden Hound's going to get in the enemy's way, and we will keep annoying the enemy army as they approach ours. Nurgle's probably going to lose hope rather quickly at this rate, as they are fighting under Tzeentch skies within their home province. And that's probably not such a good sign. Damn, these Chosen are only at about half HP and have only lost 5 of their models so far, despite taking like a dozen shots from that Exalted Flamer. Good for them. And ooh, here come the Forsaken, booking it towards us. We're going to back off at the Exalted Flamer so that they don't surround and kill it. Gonna essentially screen it a little bit with the Chaos Knights, but they're not really here to fight the Forsaken so much as they are here to move to the left flank and protect it from the Hounds of Decay and Chaos Chariots of Nurgle. Alrighty, and on the bright side, though, that seems to have distracted and or otherwise broken the charge of the Forsaken and one of the units of Chosen. Although the second unit of Chosen is by and large in full HP. Just going to have to work on them with as much spell debuffs and a regular good old-fashioned damage and magical fire projectiles as we can. Alright, and with that, the battle is joined. The poor Marauders in the front lines are probably not looking forward to facing off against enemy Chosen here, but at least while the barrier is up, they're not going to lose models. Though it looks like the barrier will go down, and they'll start dropping. So, I do love seeing Chosen hack through chaff infantry. It's always entertaining. Kind of like what we've gotten with the sort of hammerers in Thorgrim's army in the Dwarfs campaign. And even though it's seeing enemy Chosen do the work here, we'll be seeing our own in reasonably short order. Looks like some of the enemies managed to loop around us over on our right flank, but we mob them with the piles of Furies and decent damage to them with range. The rest of the enemy Marauders, at least, we will hit in the back with our Furies, but obviously we're not charging the Chosen in the back with Furies, because that would be a bad idea. The Chosen have nearly cleared out this one unit of Marauders of Tzeentch, which has nearly been destroyed and down to 10-15% of its HP, but the Chosen are nearly out of the picture as well. Speaking of being out of the picture, this is Tamurkhan's last hurrah. He's being distracted by the Marauders of Tzeentch, who we have buffed up with that cascading fire cloak, giving them 65% fire resistance, such that our splash damage, our sort of stray shots, our friendly fire doesn't kill off too many of them. And Tamurkhan is unbreakable, much as I would have loved to have killed him off twice and given his defeat trait to multiple lords. We're just going to have to make sure that he drowns in Eldritch Flame, which he does, dropping his axe for one last time, or at least the corpse that the maggot is in, dropping its axe. And doing its final animation. And down goes Tamurkhan. Beautiful. Alrighty, with that, as soon as he topples, the rest of his army is given up, including the Chosen, and the battle is ours. Alas, he lost his Rot Knights, and he lost his Plague Ogres, as well as, Khazak the Befouled no longer being in his army, so he couldn't rely on his elites to do the work for him. I mean, I guess, once again, he did still have the Chosen, but it wasn't enough. Lichbone Pennant. Not as useful to a demonic faction as pretty much all the non-demonic factions. Usually this is one of the best pennants to find because magical attacks are very strong for us. Though I wouldn't say no to the spell resistance, and we'll double check whether any of our units actually have, don't have magical damage and give it to them. I'd love to heal, but 2,000 gold, considering our money situation, is not something to turn down, so we'll offer as tribute.
Spill their blood for glorious change.
Alrighty, and I do believe that Tamurkhan's faction will be done for. And hey, we got the first level of the Blue Scribes thing completed. Next, we have to capture and occupy Bloodrift. Well, I think we can manage that. Your investigation has proven fruitful indeed. It seems the blue scribes of Tzeentch, Terex, and Seratp are the frenzied force behind the haphazard magics that have plagued so many battlefields across the land. Better yet, a clue to their current location has now reared its head as chaos surges within a nearby settlement. If you act quickly, you could capture the region before the blue scribes have a chance to move on, spreading their twisted mischief further outside of your reach. Alright. Oh, don't tell me we can't reach it in one go. And maybe that blister shield here is in the way, though, so we will move you all in. And how's that Tzeentch corruption here? Yeah, it's still maxed out, so we're good. Moving in. Kairos, move on through. And auto-resolve for obvious reasons. No more chosen for you, sir. And take the money. Alrighty, also if you're wondering where we got the extra 3,000 gold between, while the turn was ending, these guys, the Saberskin Ogre Kingdoms, decided to peace out with us, which certainly works in our favor. Enemy killed in battle, Blister Shield, yes, and a Tormentor Sword. Oh, these will be great for our ranged armies, possibly our run and guns armies, Potion of Toughness as well, Chaos War Shrine for Lucar the Indecisive. Ah, at last, he's got his first War Shrine. Though as to whether he stays in this army remains to be seen, depends on what we do with Kairos. But anyway, you're heading to Blood Rift. And we are going to auto-resolve that in a second. Can you guys march stance to reach it? And leech, reach and leech the XP. Like so. Alright, I didn't check, but okay, yeah, nobody died. Looks good to me, and with that, a champion of Nurgle is cast down, and Tzeentch's strength rises, and hey, we get the Blazing Squealers as well. Very nice. And province secured Kadatha Plateau. Next up, ensure the following building has been constructed, Lost Athenium. Okay, so we need our first tier 4. Funnily enough, we'll need the first tier 4 for the Chapter House of Knowledge anyway, so yeah. Alright, so we captured this location at tier 3. And it currently has a Monument of Potential, it has the Forgotten Scriptorium, and it has the Weave of Time. Not bad. Not bad, other than the possibility of the control building, that's pretty ideal. A moment, though. Wait, what? We can't build iridescent horrors here. Oh, I was looking at something else. That wasn't Zunbaijin, that was the other place. Wait, was it? What was I even looking at? I guess I was looking... Okay, let's... give this a read in a second. I guess I was looking at this place, wasn't I? Yeah, okay, I got happy for nothing. And yeah, we can't get another iridescent horror because we have too many. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we do have 4. Alright, fair enough. Let's give this a read now. The blue scribes may have just slipped your grasp, but a show of force is not the only way to entice them to your side. They have been given an impossible task in recording every fragment of magic they can find, for the possibilities have multiplied in mortal hands. The Lost Athenium will provide a space in the mortal realm capable of housing their surplus spells. Perhaps that would be enough to lure these wandering wizards from wherever they currently skulk. Alright. Now we are right, but this is the same faction, I wonder. The third host of murder, Island of Endless Gore, and the third host of murder, aha. So essentially what we'll want to do is go up the stairs to Khorne's realm from 2 directions at once. Which we're not going to do so yet because I want to wipe out the Greenskin faction. Possibly Malachi. Might be fun to fight some dwarfs in the early game as well. But anyway. For now, this turn, we can't do that much. Kairos has leveled up, he's got his rank 14. We'll at least grab Oracle of Eternity. We'll not bother with the Grimoire thing, because Kairos is 2-point hungry, and I don't want to waste points. He'll want the Binding of the Wills as well, but it's not critical that we get it right now. Changing of the Ways cost -50 for Track Army and Reveal Shroud is going to be useful as well. Changing of the Ways cost reduction, probably useful. For now, though. Oracle of Eternity. We'll start moving through this. All that point saving for nothing. Anyway, Zunbaijin, you are going to switch to Infernal Citadel immediately, which was the plan, and then we'll immediately get you the Public Order building, because we need to fix the situation here. You already have a Thaumaturgic Fissure. We'll use, I guess, these to grow the place to tier 3, tier 3, tier 3, and then switch out to warp lengths and money-making. Same thing that we're doing here in Twisted Expanse as well. Speaking of Twisted Expanse, let's immediately... Oh, it'll take 5 turns. I mean, I guess we'll switch to Mutalith Prison Formula and then switch back. It'll save us... Actually, I mean, effectively it'll only save us 1 turn, won't it? Actually, it might save us more because we'll wait for the completion of the Lattice of Distortion, which is another... Yeah, fine. It might save us 2 turns, I'm not entirely sure. Let's try. Alright, and then what about other building? We're still good here, waiting for that tier 4 and the units that will be associated with. Yes, we're building the Thaumaturgic Fissure here as well. And which will be the first tier 4 territory? It's now looking like it'll be Road to Damnation. Which, you know, fair enough. Alright, we'll keep an eye on those lords and those iridescent horrors, as well as there's certainly some that will maybe want to summon just for the purpose of... Yeah, just for the purpose of getting them up and running, so that they can take command of an army later on. Now, we do have a little bit of cash to spare, so we can start building this guy's army, so go for the blue horrors. They'll eventually turn into pink horrors. And since this is going to be a run-and-gun army, the blue horrors don't have enough range compared to the pink horrors and exalted pink horrors, so we'll probably pop the blazing squealers into this army, whereas the sour guts, which are, unless I'm mistaken, let me find them here. Alright, the sour guts are regular pink horrors, which we can put in with the sort of malevolent ranger army, which will be a little bit different. Yes. Good, Ruinous, good. Alrighty, the rest of this is fine. And unless I'm mistaken, we don't need to move anymore. We don't need to channel or corrupt. And we'll start on our journey back towards the Greenskin Lands, which will enable us to build a few more territories and prepare for new units. Skip cult upgrade. Oh, right. You know what? Oh, we've got it spread out twice, huh? Alright, fine. We'll keep spreading it out. Not this one. I forget what it was called. The one that increases the... There we go. Chance per turn to expand the cult of Tzeentch to an adjacent region. I like so. I wish it didn't cost 2,000 gold, which is a little bit of expensive, and we'll wait on Theraville, I think. Alright, well, we got several cults here. We'll eventually start building some stuff here. Changing the ways cost minus 80% faction wide. This will give us a ritual. Can only be built 1 cult at a time, eh? But it'll eventually, it'll essentially get instantly discovered, so we probably don't want that at the moment. Because it'll most likely mean that the cult will be gone in the next couple of turns. And then the rest of that will... Oh! 5 grimoires per turn is only 500 gold compared to the 2,000 gold this thing. Winds of Magic strong or higher, but I guess it'll significantly increase our grimoire thing if the Winds of Magic rise there. Anyway, for now, it's not worth it to overbuild those. Also, what I would like to see is how our allegiance is progressing, and how our friendliness is as well. Down to 52 nearly, but that's okay. What we should probably want to do is get both of our vassals fighting an enemy faction, so that they have somebody to hate together, and thus, you know, become friendlier with each other. Generally the way to get these factions that have an aversion to each other to deal with it. Unfortunately, I don't think we have anybody nearby who will want to directly declare war on as yet. We will do these guys, but, you know... Actually, who are you at war with? You are... Oh, wow, you're at war with everybody. Huh, Warhost of the Apocalypse is nearby. The regular Warriors of Chaos make terrible allies, so it's probably not worth our time to deal with them. Khorne's Realm is looking really great. Well, we'll get there eventually. Huh. I wonder if this Tzeentch corruption changes the landscape of Khorne's Realm, but anyway. Alright, ready for duty, some guy. Alright, great. Kairos, it's time to start moving towards the Greenskins, which will give us a few territories to develop our territories. What's the public order here? Yeah, okay, it's not gonna rebel, it's fine. Develop our territories and get started on some new units and prepare to split our armies off. Definitely have been wanting to move towards that ASAP. You will upgrade... Actually, maybe we'll wait 1 turn, then upgrade the Infernal Citadel here first. Yeah, public order is... I mean, we can start collecting a little bit of money, but I think I'd rather wait for the public order to fix itself for a few more turns. You, Eben, keep... Actually, no, let's upgrade you first. Go for the Warplinth and the Lattice of Distortion upgrade. Probably more critical to the money making that is so critical to us right now. You can be upgraded as well at 1,000, and then the rest of that is fine since we're saving the points there. Gonna be a very quick turn as soon as... Oh man, this place. I should probably just use this to go between them. Anyway, you keep building blue horrors. We'll probably need at least some of the pink horrors in here as well, because the army probably won't... Well, it'll have a difficult time. Though on the other hand, I do like the idea of, you know, having the blue horrors actually survive. Okay, you also don't need this fury unit in here. Having this army actually survive in order to be able to get those horrors upgraded. Yeah. Yeah, 2 points in the Searing Doom, that's fine. Not great for run and gun, though, I admit. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, so the other Changebringer, that's tier 5, Mechikal Rock, is... a Lore of Tzeentch, and I think for run and gun I might prefer Tzeentch to metal. Gehenna's Golden Hounds is solid for run and gun, and if we do get hit we can, you know, pop an emergency glittering robe, I admit. Plague of Rust also reduces enemy speed in addition to enemy armor. Final Transmutation also reduces speed and forces enemies unable to move. This reduces enemy accuracy and missile damage. Yeah, metal is actually solid for it as well. I'm gonna think about it. The good thing about Lore of Tzeentch is that you can, you know, spam blue fires while running and gunning. You're an iridescent horror of Tzeentch, and you're both iridescent horrors of Tzeentch, though, so we could do both lores. Oh, one of them was gonna get deleted anyway. Well, either way. Kairos, skip. Let's go and turn. Alright, Changing the Ways Halt Army, that'll be useful. Disc Taming rather, is next, but it also provides us Chosen and Warriors and Knights armor, so get the tanky, all the more tanky. Vifin, got that cult proliferation, and we're moving towards those greenskins now. All of you are moving towards the greenskins. Go. In the meantime, we'll upgrade the money-making Weave of Time. We'll immediately go for the Warplinth now. Or Stygian Well, and then I guess we're gonna get rid of this Thaumaturgic Fissure now because we need to replace it. Well, we'll eventually need to replace it with a cult. I'll just leave it unupgraded for that particular reason then. And then you can go for Web of Secrets. And I guess we can start collecting money here. There we go, that's significant. You will be able to collect money shortly, and by building that upgrade we won't have enough to upgrade the Infernal Citadel, which I wanted to immediately do. Although, I guess we could take the opportunity to move you into Mutalith Prison formula and then, you know, build it quicker. Yeah, alright. That works as well. So it doesn't matter that we can, we'll do it next turn. And then an Unending Maze. We will not waste the money on you right now because we're going to be deleting you shortly. And frankly, the same thing is true of this Unending Maze, but the public order needs to get fixed first. At least we no longer have to deal with the Confederation debuff. Anyway, I believe that's it, other than potential additional blue horrors, but I think we'll wait a turn.
All will succumb to change.
Alright, up to 4.5k per turn, getting better. They gotta fund those armies after all. Now, we'll upgrade the Blood Rift here, like so, and then I guess we'll delete the Thaumaturgic Fissure now, at least in this location, as we'll want to upgrade it into a money-making territory. You will need a little bit more public order, so we'll wait, and I think maybe the Unending Maze will be worth the investment, not as much as the, you know, money, but still. Lattice of Distortion, and then go for the Crystalline Arch. And how much is the Crystalline Arch again? 1200, still fairly expensive, but it is what it is. Anyway, and we'll on to upgrade Hate March to tier 3 and Eben Keep to tier 3. In the meantime, though, Kairos. And soon will be time to start fighting once more, so go over here. Won't be providing any public order bonuses, huh? I don't like that at all. War Host of the Apocalypse, Archaon. We might have to knock you down a peg. It's not like he's going to be a particularly useful ally since we really can't make use of any of his units. How are you doing? Still reasonably liking us, and... is this upgraded to tier 2 now? Bits of Uzkalak is up to tier 2, not tier 3, though it's probably still going to be worth a decent amount now. 7 territories. Let them keep growing for a little bit. Once again, we'll trade our settlement, transfer their settlement to us for 530, so about half our stuff right now. Also, we should probably use Reveal Shroud. Let us reveal the Shroud of these guys because they have a huge territory. Like so, I'd like to see what's going on here. Alright, so the Blue Vipers are running around. You're not Archaon's vassal, are you? No, you're not. Alright, wow, these guys... They might have taken so much territory that we should maybe destroy them. I'm gonna have to think about it. I guess it depends on whether we want to actually go up here, but you know what, this territory is actually fairly limited in the sense that we should be able to cover the entire territory fairly quickly, and then just go to the edge of the water and then not be, it not necessitate proceeding further, and then once that's taken. But we will go into the Realm of Khorne before that. Anyway, that doesn't change the fact that we're ready to end the turn and proceed towards the Orcs Archaon. How many territories do you have? 5. Alright, so it'll be a fairly decent while we hunt you down, but... I mean... I'm gonna have to give this some thought. Do we want to fight Archaon? Frankly, if we do, the Norskins that are nearby will probably start hating us. And it's not like there's a dearth of territory, but it just, again, it bothers me because he is useless to us. Huh. He's allied with the Harbinger of Disaster. Ooh, they actually have a settlement. Oh, that's important. Okay, wait. No. We need Beastmen allies. And Malagor might be the only decent option. Okay, we'll try to give him money for this. Next turn. Might even have to transfer a settlement and then trade it to him. Alright, well, either way, that doesn't change the fact that we got to end the turn, so it's in the turn. Alright, luckily for us, we still have Nagra per camp, as an Archaon didn't take it, because I really wanted to fight here, because it's a minor settlement with a lot of units, and that means a fight. It's worth fighting. I've also got to resolve you to death. Anyway, let's quickly build what we need to build here. I guess we'll start with Hate March, and we'll immediately upgrade that Warplinth for more money. And you can stick around until we get the Cultist camp. We will want to build up afterwards. We can upgrade you, Dark Bastion, so we'll do that, and then we will go for another one of these webs of secrets for cash. Oh, that reminds me, when's the magic manipulation? How are we looking at here? You will be reduced. We can reduce you by 1 and then max you out because you're making more money now. Eventually we'll want to make money here as well. Now, okay. You are maxed out, but you're also not generating a bunch of money, and you only have the 1 territory, so you're probably not as worth it, unlike these territories. Like so. Beautiful. Alright, more growth, more control, more research rate, more all of the good stuff. That'll help us generate more income as we continue building our territory up. Anyway, let us do one more fight this episode, though we may be running out of time by a fair bit, but, well, that's just typical at this point. And we'll attack Rend Darufi with a quick little auto-resolve, and then we'll move on into Nagra per camp. Auto-resolve. Hopefully that doesn't kill off like 500 of our troops. 300's still way too many. Okay, well, I guess it'll make the battle for this territory a little bit more difficult. Offer us tribute. We need the money. Alrighty, and hey, diplomatic relations is sort of change. Swavely. Free Pigeon Plucker Pendant as well. And a Void Pendulum. Man, we're getting a lot of really cool items. Power Recharge Reserves affects enemies in range. What's the range? 200? Not bad. Sort of an anti-spellcaster thing, eh? I don't dislike that. Alright. And Talisman of Preservation. Nice. Tzeentch Philosopher. Potentially nice. Wait. Tzeentch Philosopher and Talisman of Preservation. That's obviously going on Kairos. Ignore the Void Pendulum. Do we really have no armor? So we have no armor. Alright, get rid of the Earthing Rod and the Wand of Jet. And get the Sword of Strife. Is that better than the Dragonfire handgun for you? Frankly, it doesn't really matter. Frankly, I think the Tormentor Sword might be the better option for you. And just because it'll give you the... it'll give you the ability to stop enemies. And you are kind of flying around constantly, so let's do that for now. Alright, and Sword of Might and Sword of Striking, you can turn into a Talisman of Endurance. Those will always be useful. We can't get rid of the Wand of Whimsy. We'll probably want the Pigeon Plucker Pendants for various lords and heroes. I'm not super concerned about the itemization right now for all of our armies, simply because we can, well, we'll spread those around once we... you're not able to reach the place, are you? Alright, fair enough. We'll spread those around once we actually have these guys commanding new armies. You don't need to channel, we'll attack these guys. Now, technically speaking, the best way to do this would be to not attack them, allow Archaon to attack them, and then attack Archaon. But then we wouldn't get to fight this. But that's, again, under the assumption that we do attack Archaon, but I still think that we probably will. The only thing that bothers me is the... is Malagor. 740. He's really gonna be salty about the whole Archaon thing. And possibly all the other Chaos factions. Man, maybe we just leave Archaon alone then. Out of curiosity, Archaon, how much do you hate us right now? Minus 64. Frankly, we could probably vassalize him and just leave all this territory to him, and then head up into the realms of the gods. The main issue with the realms of the gods is this. It's tons and tons of single territories, isn't it? I don't know if all the realms of the gods are like that, but the realm of Nurgle and certainly is, as we saw in the Nakai campaign. And the problem with main territories like this is that they don't actually generate a lot of money compared to the money generated by minor or provinces that have lots of settlements, because we can't build warplinths here. Granted, all of the lost Atheniums are still quite useful though. But it's all buildings for all regions and province, and thus it only affects the one region as opposed to 3, which is why we get more money out of those. See, this one's making 639, and our main territory and our second and third territories are making 3.6, 2.2, and 1.6k. Pretty big difference. Meaning we do need lots of territory that has smaller settlements like this. But if Malagor hates us, then we won't be able to get him as an ally. You know what, we're gonna attack the Greenskins, and just do one more fight, and then if we have to fight Archaon while damaged, we'll fight Archaon while damaged. That was a little bit concerning, because he's basically at full HP, and I kind of screwed us over by not also being in full HP. Oh, you know what I can do? We'll put it to a vote. Do we attack Archaon or not? Even at the potential cost of Malagor as an ally. Admittedly, wait a moment. Admittedly, we can take territories here. We like desert. What do we not like? We don't like mountain and we don't like swamp. Okay, well, pretty much all of this territory is desert. And it's right beside the realms of the gods as well. Or this realm of the gods. I mean, either way, we're going to attack. Okay, speaking of Archaon, I would like you... We will join your war against Snag Rippers. If nothing else, we want money from you, even if it ain't much. Like so. And just because I want the fight. Alrighty, and then we'll go on in. Water's fine, lots of greenskins, should be fun, go. Alrighty, here we go. Much as I enjoyed this, by and large, Nurgle dedicated episode as the Raven God faced off against the Crow and the Raven, and, well, showing the Raven's superiority here, we have to fight some other army for variety. And even if it does take us out of the sort of sneaky plan of having these guys damage Archaon's army, I think it'll be a fun enough army to have been worth it, or fun enough battle to have been worth it. So we begin. Kairos is going to start as he is the artillery for this particular army. Blue fire spam on whatever units he can reach that are in decent enough position. Ooh, looks like the enemy will fire back with a nice gaze of Mork, most likely, hitting Kairos, taking about 60% of his barrier, but obviously not a huge deal. He has surprisingly little spell resistance at only 20. I thought he'd have more, go figure. On the other hand, I imagine spells are probably the only thing that would work super well against him, as it would probably be difficult to get into a direct melee combat with him. Alrighty. Especially if you want to take advantage of the sort of withering and weakness that was imparted to his form due to the will of eternity. Anyway, looks like we've got some of the enemies moving towards us, but they're having a pretty bad time against our pink and blue horrors alike. And looks like that unit will rout and fail. Alright, I think it's time to move on, and Kairos and the Golden Griffin of Theurgy alike, Lords of Change, will lead the pack, or the flock I should say, and drop down on the unit or units of boar boys down below. While we have our barrier up, none of them are going to be a threat to us. And it'll allow the rest of our units to start closing the distance. Here come the Marauders, and of course the debut of our first Tzeentch War Shrine as well, which should help power up our casting. Alright, Kairos is aglow with angelic light once again. As he sends that one orc flying. Fantastic. Alrighty, and it looks like these boar boys and those orc boys are out, but there are plenty, and I do mean plenty more, where that came from. Definitely going to be something of a brawl here. And yeah, we could have probably killed off, I don't know, a good portion, if not all, of the enemy army with just pure spell work from a distance, but, well, why do that when we can get a little bit of action for the Chaos Knights and the Marauders? Especially since they don't yet have an army of their own, their dedicated force, we gotta enjoy them in this army until they split off. And then Kairos can do his Lord of Change and Magical Domination. Anyway, looks like those units that have rushed our lines have so far been failing. Gonna pop that Shield of Thorns to both reflect melee damage and increase missile resistance. Looks like the enemy used, I think it was a Brain Burster, down on our blob of units below, but I'd wager while the barrier was up, probably didn't do too much damage. Golden Griffin of Theurgy will move forward and cast the Searing Doom on top of himself just to do a little bit of damage. He's fighting against one unit, which is one of those situations where I don't mind using spells on the blob, because it's only one unit blobbed up. It's not like 3 units where we take advantage of the AI being an idiot. One-on-one is absolutely fair game. Kairos will continue casting, sort of supporting the Golden Griffin of Theurgy by going through those pink fires through the blobs of enemies. But again, there's plenty more enemies where that came from. Otherwise, the enemies have still failed to do anything about our main blob. We've also separated our flyers, which have knocked out the enemy tower, and some of which, including these Shrieking Sky Rays, who are being led by our disc-riding Chaos Sorcerer Lords, are just hunting down some enemy orc error boys. Though frankly, the damage of the Furies would probably allow them to kill these guys a little bit faster. Units seem to struggle in terms of fighting on bridges a little bit, so you gotta keep that in mind as well. Anyway, another pink fires comes down from Kairos as he continues in the fight. Looks like we get clipped by another gaze of Mork, but it's time to start moving away and into other portions of the battlefield. Chaos Knights are going to lead the pack and charge on in. Not quite as epic as the charge of the Tzeentch Raiders in the Kai's finale, which was just fantastic as they were able to charge through like a dozen enemy units of zombies at once. Those were some brave little horned one riding skinks, but we'll try to replicate those epic charges once we get some Chaos Knight and just cavalry heavy armies in general in this particular campaign as well. I do love my cavalry armies. Alright, and it looks like we have joined the cav with the flying cav, as it were, or flying melee infantry, I guess, in the form of the Chaos Furies, as they completely surround those 3 or 4 units that were down here. Shrieking Sky Rays, the Furies, the Marauders, the Chaos Knights, absolutely tearing through the enemy and taking relatively no damage while dishing it back due to the Shield of Thorns from Kairos, affecting all of them. Alright, and there we go. With that, it looks like all of the units over on the left flank have been completely destroyed and have shattered. There is still a fair few units running around here, and it looks like they finally managed to slightly harm Kairos, who's down to by about 5% of his HP. He is backed up because he was starting to get surrounded by Black Orcs, and while those guys can certainly knock him out if not careful, at least while he doesn't have regrowth. So we'll let the Black Orcs move forward, led by the Black Orc Big Boss, who's in here somewhere, I believe. And we'll let the Marauders take some damage. We will, however, debuff the enemy. Soul Leech of Tzeentch, Trickster Shard, all coming down upon them. And there's the Black Orc Big Boss as well. Makes sense to him for him to have led his Black Orcs into the fray. And we'll probably knock out a fair few Marauders before we deal with them. Alrighty, however, the Marauders are still holding, and that means we get free reign to keep hitting those Black Orcs with various spells. Gaze of Fate is going to come down upon them. A Tormentor Sword will take out their melee attacks. And Gaze of Fate will prevent the Black Orc Big Boss from being too threatening, as the two Chaos Sorcerers have arrived to help out on their discs. And able to move right into the center of the formation to start fighting the Black Orc Big Boss. Alrighty, and let's see, the battle is just about ours. The Black Orc Big Boss, Mr. Grom here, is down to about 10% of his HP, and a couple more hits from those staves will be bringing him down. Kairos has once again landed. Down goes the Big Boss. And it looks like the balance of power has shifted to 90% in our favor. The Black Orcs have broken, the Boar Boys have broken. Looks like a little unit of Air Boys still kicking around. Or still kicking, rather. But having a pretty bad time against the Golden Griffin of Theurgy, as they just don't have the stats to deal with him, especially as the Griffin has the blinded minus 15 attack, minus 15 defense on its as a contact effect. Alrighty, and there we go with that. It looks like the Orc Air Boys and the Orc Shaman, who was still on the field and is now getting mobbed by Disc Riders. Ooh, can't wait to get like, I don't know, 4 at least units of Doom Knights, or 5 maybe units of Doom Knights in one army, and have each unit headed by a Chaos Sorcerer, Hero, or Lord running a disc. That'll be glorious. I might even do just like a very small army like that with just like the 10 units. I have definitely been finding those as sort of non-full stacks very, very fun in various recent campaigns, because they're always outnumbered and always having pretty great battles. Anyway, with that, the enemy army shatters. The only thing we gotta do is get into proximity with this last unit of Orc Big Ones, and as soon as we do, the last of the enemy army will shatter, and the battle is ours. Beautiful. It looks like, well, we did take a tiny bit of damage on a few units. It really wasn't all that concerning. Ooh. I just want to look down here. Oh, I like that it's basically invisible, but we can see the sort of campfires or whatever is down there, lighting up the place a little bit. That's pretty neat. And we'll see a little bridge down there as well. A really nice touch to this particular map. Anyway, a really fun fight and some much needed variety to the Nurgle episode. All right, there we go. Perhaps the plan would have made more sense if we allowed Archaon to do this and then pounced on him immediately after, but, I mean, I really wanted the fight, and a good fight we got. Kairos, racking up a massive 155,000 damage, but what do you expect from Big Bird with all that casting prowess of his and 628 kills? Though the Golden Griffin of Theurgy was no slouch either, with 304 kills, almost half as much as Kairos, and 45,000 damage. One of the few battles where the Exalted Flamer didn't get to do too much in the way of fighting, but it allowed the Marauders and the Pink and Blue Horse to some degree to do some work as well, which was nice. And lots of kills, or lots of damage at least, on the Shrieking Skyrays. Good job. Anyway, we're going to occupy the place. Oh, very tempted to loot and occupy, or sack it even. But we might want to trade it, so we're just going to occupy, even though it is worth a fair bit. Anyway, the territory... Agripper camp. Okay, we can't quite, but I'm willing to bet that if we build 2 military buildings here, which are these two, it'll take 1 turn, we'll be able to immediately possibly vassalize Archaon, which would probably mean... And just letting all of this... well, I guess we'd still have the issue of needing to vassalize the Tong, but the ease with which we can do that is, well, pretty easy, because we could just transfer one of their settlements and force vassalize them as well. Anyway, the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it up to a vote. Do we fight Archaon and then take all of his territory, which will inevitably mean we'll have to move this way, though we might still be able to get the Tong vassalized by transferring a settlement, then transferring it back to them. Is Tong Hall their capital? It is, okay. Maybe take Bloodhaven and... Actually, just out of curiosity, how much is it? Changing of the Ways... Nah, not quite there, but nearly there anyway. So that would be a possibility. Or we leave Archaon alone and head elsewhere. Either way, it's going to be up to a vote, and you guys can decide. Vassalize or destroy, I'll leave it in the comments below. Next time, we will be making this army ready, as it is... Well, it's almost ready as well. We want to start conquering some really cool-looking territory out here, and getting that Blue Horror army, and Pink Horror to some degree, army up and running. We will also be building Flamers and Skyrays, or more Shriekers, as it looks like we finally have enough money coming in per turn to warrant getting another army up, and probably splitting Kairos' army up into several different armies, because, frankly, he could do so much by himself that he doesn't need a full complement of units in the early game. Though, admittedly, against Archaon, he certainly might. Anyway, you guys decide. Let me know. The poll will be up for 24 hours until the next episode, so we'll know by then. Stay tuned for more Kairos. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.